I think that life is what it is, but life is not what's made of what life was.
TikTok reminds me on a daily basis that there is no such thing as an original thought or experience.
Once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true 2.0 in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams.
Perez Hilton shared some never before been told tea about Lindsay Lohan on a podcast. TikTok sensation Addison Rae's parents are in the middle of the messiest scandal I've ever heard of. There are 2 documentaries you're gonna wanna watch this week, and Natalie Portman discusses her crazy Thor fitness routine. I'm Alex Clark, and this is Poplitics. Perez Hilton went on Heather McDonald's podcast Juicy Scoop and shared some never-before-been-told tea about a memoir Lindsay Lohan was allegedly working on.
Sit down on the couch and get some story. Yes.
This is exclusive. I can't believe I've never shared this before. I'm such a dork.
Mark it down.
I know. I should have done it on my podcast, but you're getting the exclusive.
Thank you.
Because it made my brain think of it. I do think the Britney Spears memoir will come out. I forget the name of the publishing company, but one of these big New York publishers offered Lindsay Lohan a lot of money. They gave her
when?
Actually,
back when?
Within the not so distant past.
Okay.
Not super recently, but a few years ago they offered her, I think, $1 million plus. I forget the exact amount. I heard from a source in publishing, because I know a lot of people. She failed to meet all her deadlines. The book never came out. I don't know how that got resolved, if she had to give them the money back or what. Or maybe it will eventually come out. But yeah, there was supposed to be a Lindsay Lohan memoir that never materialized.
I know people who have also been hired to help a celebrity do it. And sometimes it hasn't come out because they do the whole book. And then they're like, well, actually, we decided this isn't good for her brand.
I 100% believe that this is true and exactly what happened. The entire reason Lindsay Lohan stopped working and basically fell off the face of the earth for so long was because she could not stop abusing drugs and alcohol, was disrespectful on set, didn't show up or know her lines, and just didn't have a care in the world.
Honey, this is how you throw a party, amigo.
Now that she's engaged and has these 2 new movies coming out with Netflix, hopefully things are different, and then who knows, maybe we will get a Lindsay Lohan memoir. If we did, I'd be waiting in line in person for Barnes & Noble to open so that I can get my hands on that big boy. Fun fact, I just did a podcast this week with Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec, and Drew Hernandez. You can listen to the Charlie Kirk Show or Jack Posobiec's podcast, Human Events Daily, to hear it. And Charlie said that for the longest time, he really thought that Lindsay Lohan had a twin in real life. Addison Rae's parents are going through some major relationship drama right now. The tea is, Addison's parents originally tied the knot in 2004, then got divorced several years later, and then remarried in 2017. Stories like this are always wild to me, and Addison has 2 little brothers.
I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots.
After getting remarried 5 years ago, it looks like they're about to divorce again, and this time it's probably for good, since it came out that Addison's dad had been cheating on her mom with a 25-year-old. The girl claimed that Addison's dad convinced her that he and Addison's mom were already getting divorced, they were not together, and he even took her to meet his mom, Addison's grandma.
Now that we're done with that, you want to see my renegade?
Addison's dad even told the 25-year-old he wanted to marry her and have babies with her, but every time she wanted to post a pic of them together on social media, he told her she couldn't. The twist is, the 25-year-old dumped him this week after a bunch of other young girls posted on TikTok videos of him grabbing their butts or hitting on them.
Addison Rae's dad is trying to I swear to God.
Poor Addison's mom. She released a statement about all of this and said, personal matters being brought public are always challenging and overwhelming for anyone involved. I will be okay. My biggest concern is, and always will be, my children and their fragile hearts and minds. I will always do my best to protect them. I like her attitude. She should ditch that loser and live off her rich daughter.
Little mama, show me how you move it. Go ahead, put your back into it. Do your thing like it ain't nothing to it. Shake, shake that ass, girl.
Two new documentary alerts. First, Victoria's Secret Angels and Demons on Hulu this Thursday. I will be watching.
No other lingerie brand could compete with Victoria's Secret. They could get the best talent in the world.
It's a $7.5 billion business. This company is crushing it.
Very few people have heard of the billionaire behind Victoria's Secret, Les Wexner.
He dominated the malls of America.
But there was something else going on.
There's a number of red flags.
And here was Jeffrey Epstein,
who managed to navigate his way into Wexner's life.
But it's much bigger than Epstein. Victoria's Secret lost connection with the customer. Things were falling apart.
There's a larger picture to all of this.
The politicians, the royalty,
intelligence agencies.
Why was Epstein doing this? Was this about power and blackmail?
And makes you wonder how many more layers there are to this world.
This is all a story that was meant to be hidden and stay hidden.
And another must-see documentary out now on Netflix is Girl in the Picture. So many people have said that they actually cried at the end of this one because that case is so devastating. It's getting super good ratings and reviews. Have you seen it yet? What did you think?
In 2002, a friend sent me a photograph. It was a picture of a little girl, her father. The more you looked at the picture and the more you looked at her, you could see something was terribly wrong. The only person that knew her real identity was her father.
Franklin Floyd had been a fugitive for almost 2 decades. He robbed a bank. He had a history of violence.
He was an expert and concealed his identity.
He had a daughter, Sharon Marshall.
She wanted to go to Georgia Tech, be an aerospace engineer. I remember the phone call, and she said she was pregnant, but Daddy won't let me go to college now.
We discovered that they changed their names. He took her around to strip clubs to make a living for him. There's a big question here. What happened to Sharon Marshall?
As an investigative journalist, you try to get down to the truth.
All this information, very simple to analyze, and we had a real problem.
This is more than just a crime story. Who is this girl?
She went by many names. We had a portrait of very different people.
This beautiful young woman was trapped in evil.
She was stuck and didn't know how to get out.
What happened? And who the hell is she?
Marvel fans freaked out when it was revealed that Natalie Portman would be in the new Thor, Love and Thunder. But just like we're always amazed at the steps actors take to get into superhero shape, Natalie Portman did not stop the trend.
Boy, I'm feeling this. Oh, ooh, my head's gonna be sore in the morning.
The goal of Natalie's workout was to bulk up her arms and strengthen her abs, you know, to look more like me. So sticking with the strict high-protein diet and 5 training sessions a week, Natalie boxed, did core workouts, and lifted weights for 10 straight months.
Gotta start with burpees, buddy. Just rip and burpee box jumps, buddy. 50 burpees, 50 push-ups. 50 burpees, 50 push-ups, stairs, protein break. Just rip and drop sets. Just rip and bent over, rear delt raise with head on bench. Delts to die for, buddy.
Even while changing her diet, Natalie remained a vegan the entire time. While commenting on her new look, she told Variety that she saw herself in a new light, which is, you know, great for her because I know that I would not have the mindset to pull that off.
You light a fire inside me.
The truth is, I am still trying to come to terms with all the stuff that Dr. Leah said in the new Spillover episode, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna get there. Here's a really quick pop quiz for your Monday. Annie from Oregon asked, Alex, with your recent love of black walls and houses, do you think white everything is out, like white cupboards, white walls, etc.? Without a doubt, yes.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Emily from Colorado wants to know, do you like cats? I love the kind of cats that Taylor Swift has because I think they have funny personalities, but I don't know that I'll ever own a pet because I think having animals in the house is gross and I always smell them.
Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Everybody! Smelly cat, it's not your fault.
Candace from Tennessee asked the most brilliant question. Do you think that worms fart? Very good question. I had to Google it. It looks like researchers made a list a couple years ago of what animals fart and which don't, and worms do not. It's been incredible hearing so many testimonies of how my latest episode of The Spillover with Dr. Leah about hormones and birth control has encouraged you or made you just not feel crazy. Sometimes episodes I do are purely entertaining and sometimes they're educational. And the educational ones are so fun to mix in because they really do improve so many people's lives for the better. If you're a woman, I highly encourage you to listen. Subscribe to The Spillover on Apple and Spotify. Heart this episode or thumbs it up. Don't forget to tell me what you think about Girl in the Picture if you've watched. What do you think about couples who get divorced and remarry? Is that ever a good idea, or is it just a disaster waiting to happen? Post this episode to your stories with a poll asking Christians if they've ever had a conversation like that with someone, and then lastly, hit the save button, please. Poplitics is back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm Alex Clark, and this is Poplitics.
Clearly, Poplitics is best served visually, but you can also listen to Poplitics if you just want the audio. Subscribe to us anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, and more. Also, make sure that if you are listening to the podcast version, you leave us a 5-star review, and don't forget, subscribe to Poplitics on YouTube.